Functions. Function is a code block. In this code block, there may be one line only, or maybe many lines. One line, 10 lines, 200 lines, 2000 lines, and so on. It's a code block. Each line of code does something. That's why you write code. It does something. So if you want to do more things, you need to write more code. Many lines of code together, we say it's a code block. And this code does something. That's why we write code. Maybe later on we want to redo the same thing with the same code. So we give this code block a name. It is a function name. So function is a code block with a name. That way you can create as many code blocks as you want. And you give a name, it's called a function name. You use a function name to identify each code block. That is function. The purpose of function is we want to reuse the code. So we write some code there, and maybe later we want to do the same thing. Normally, if you don't use function, you're going to write the same code again, or you may do copy paste. And if you want to use again, you do copy paste, or you write the same code again. So it means we're repeating to do the same thing over and over again. Now we don't want to do that. All we do is, if I think that we want to repeat the same code later, I'm going to give a name to this code block. So if I want to use the code block later on, I just call the function name. Call function. When I call function, the function name will be replaced by the code block. That way we don't need to rewrite the same code. We just call the function name. The function name will be replaced by the code block. That's why we use function. So the purpose of function is reuse the code. That is function. It's nothing special. It's just the code. Could be one line, could be many lines. If it's one line, we don't mind to rewrite the same code again. But if many lines, we don't want to retype the same code over and over again because it takes time. So all we do is we name that code block with function name. And when we want to reuse the code, we don't retype the code. We only need to call the function, call the function name. The function name will be replaced by the code block at runtime. That's why we create a function. We save a lot of time. We reuse the code. A function can return a value or do not return a value. Let's see how function look like. Oh, here's my program. Right here I have 2 lines. I can write many lines. Just as example, I only write 2 lines of code here. Right? Only 2 lines, maybe 20 lines, maybe 200 lines. And I'm going to run it. So it gives me, by mistake I put an indent here. So take off the indent. I run it again. Oh, I missed the quotation mark. Alright, so let's run it again. Alright, so when I run it, it gives me the result to be like this. So I write this code, give me the result. And I only have 2 lines here. I may have many lines. So if I want to repeat, if I want to print this again, what I do, I can rewrite this here. And then it'll give me the same thing again. If I want to print again, I rewrite the code again. Give me the result. You may think that why if we want to redo the same thing, why don't we use a loop to do it? The thing is, if we use a loop, you have to tell how many times to repeat. Only if you want to repeat once, then you loop once. But the thing is, I have to write code saying loop for a while loop and show it. But what if I want to repeat the same code at different places? And we use a loop. You only repeat it once. Now you don't need to write a loop. You just retype the code here. But if we want to repeat the same code at different places, and we just retype this code at different places. 2 lines doesn't matter. 200 lines, that matters. So what we do is I'm going to give this code block. You see, this is the block. I give this block a name. If I want to repeat the code, I just call the name. Call this code block name. That means do this code. Then I don't need to retype the code here. So how do I name this code block? Do this. I'm gonna name this code block. So use a function to do it here. This is the way we do it here. So this code block has a name called a message. We use a keyword def, def, function name, and you always give parentheses. This cannot be skipped. This is the required. Give parentheses and colon, and then indent, and then you put whatever code you want to put in because of code block. Now I only have 2 lines code here. You may have 200 lines, 2,000 lines, 20,000 lines. All these lines together, to me, it's just code block. It's just a block. It's just a block. Give this block a name called a message with parentheses, keyword def. That's how you create a function. So after this code block is named message, I can call message anywhere I want it to. So what I do is, I'm going to call message. So that's how you call it. Function name, parentheses. That's how you call it. So before I do that, I just run it. Just run it. See, I run it. I create a function. And then when I run it, I get nothing here, no result, because I'm not calling it. This is just my function, means my definition. I'm not calling the definition. And now I'm ready. So I call function message. When I call function message, this function will be replaced by the code block. Means these 2 lines. These 2 lines will come into right here. We'll replace it. So let me run it now. Now you can see I got a result here. If I want to repeat the code again, I call function name here again. Now I get 2 copies here, and so on. So whenever I call function name, the function name will be replaced by the code block that function stands for. That's how you create a function. That's how you use a function. So the purpose is we want to repeat the code, but I don't want to retype the code. Instead, I name the block with the name message, and then anywhere in my program, anytime when I call the function, then this code block will come to right here at runtime and give me the result here. That's the function.